is the Simpit. I'm your host, Sean Cole, and welcome to today's edition of the Pit Stop, where you, the pit crew, are the real star of today's show, because we are here to talk about sim racing. We'll find some good stories out there, and the better ones will open up to great discussion between me and you guys, and we can really get our opinions known about certain topics in sim racing. So, happy Hump Day to everybody. I'm wearing my shirt, a different shirt today, just in honor of Hump Day. And, you know, it is the Geico commercial that always got me going on Hump Day. I mean, it's a long time wording for Wednesdays, but it was the Geico commercials and my camel t-shirt that really began me pursuing it. But I am going to do one more thing before we get to the news. There is a reason why Hump Day is special to me, and that's because there is only one show, and I think I've said it on the show today, so those who are fans and tune in often might already know the answer to this, but I'm going to give a set of stickers away to the first person in chat who can guess, other than John Hill, the one and only television show that I religiously tune into. And it happens on Wednesday nights. So those are your clues. First person to guess it will get a pair of Simpit stickers. So just want to let you guys know that there is a reason why Hump Day is a little special to me, because one of my favorite shows is always on Wednesday nights. Anyway, let's talk about sim racing news while you guys make your guesses at what's going on. And hey, Max. Max is here for the show today. How you doing, buddy? So, Formula One. You know, this is a great tie-in. I've talked about it with the livery announcements that have been coming out. But more so than ever in the past, F1 2017 is covering real-life Formula One. They've covered all the liveries that have come out. They've covered some questions about testing, you know. And in addition to that, they're doing some Q&A or promoting Q&A with multiple different drivers, so Grosjean and Gasly. So if you want to get your questions asked of some Formula One drivers, you might want to be paying attention to the F1 2017 Twitter page, because that's where they're making... Hi, Max. I saw it. The first one to get it right was Hooter Hunter. Survivor. I am a Survivor I think this is the 28th season, and I will admit, I have watched all 28. So, Hooter, you guessed it first, and if you want to go ahead and send me an email, Sean, S-H-A-U-N, at thesimpit.com, send me your address and your choice of white, orange, or black Simpit stickers. Beard's coming in. Don't know if I'm going to be able to stick with it. It's all gray beard. It's a little embarrassing, and it's really scruffy and itchy, so we'll see. We'll see if it can stick around. Anyway, if you want to know more about Formula One drivers, get some questions and answers out of them, head over to the F1 2017 Twitter feed. And as always, I have the links to all the topics at simpit.com. All you have to do is look for that thumbnail right there, and you will be able to follow along with any of the stories that we are doing. SimTuber Survivor. I love Survivor. It is just my... I don't know. It really works for me. I love the way the competition works out. I like the psychological aspects of it. I like the way they edit their show as well. Stu, did you get the sim vibe running with it, or just running with the butt kicker on audio? Next up, Project Cars 2. You know, I haven't really covered this enough because I was a little unclear as to what was going on. But the actual Vision ACR Triple Threat Season Round 2 at Silverstone, Season 2, Round 7 of 9 is going on. But this is one of those open esport competitions, if I'm not mistaken, and would allow anybody and everybody to get out there and do it. I do. I love the drama of Survivor. I do have to admit it. The other thing, and this is a beautiful car, and John Hill and I talk about the days of Can-Am racing all the time. When we go to when we go to Long Beach this year, you will be treated to a Can-Am-esque series that does run there. I can't remember the exact name, but they do have a handful of Can-Am cars and other cars of similar era in sort of a showcase going on. But those are coming in the Porsche pack as well. So Project Cars 2, that's the difference between yesteryear and today, is the games come out and they just continue to develop and develop. And some of it's in the form of DLC, some of it's in the form of esport, some of it's in the form of free patches and things like that. So, Cooper, they have changed it a lot from the beginning. And sometimes when they make a change, we're still talking Survivor. Sometimes I'm like, oh no, why did they do that? And then honestly, I have to be in full honesty. Sometimes they make a change and I'm like, oh no, and then it plays out better than I thought it could have. So yeah. They're actually actors. Yeah, I guess they technically would be actors at that point. Monterey Historics, I believe they have a Can-Am more proper than what goes on at Long Beach as well. All right, I'm going to move along. You guys keep chatting. Assetto Corsa has a teaser today. This is great. 158 days. I'm sorry, 150 days till the start of the world's biggest GT competition. So they are promoting the GT Blancpain series. So we talked about it with Codemasters. Look what's going on, guys. There is a change in what's going on this year. Pitstop Survivor Edition. That's genius. That's genius, Tom. We're going to have to write that show and recruit the contestants. Hello, Angel. Anyway, so what we're seeing, more and more of these affiliations. You're going to see, and I think you're going to start to see more of the opposite also, where the Blancpain series maybe promotes and talks about and shows Assetto Competizione. Maybe even Formula 1 shows the F1 2017 challenges or competitions going on. So times are changing. There are some patch notes available at the Assetto Corsa forum as far as the bonus pack 3 that has finally arrived for the Xbox One. So those guys have been last in line to get the patch. It is out, and there is a list of performance things and things going on with that. In addition to that, look at this. Every sim today is on a roll. Every sim is pushing. So R-Factor likes to let us know what is going on behind the scenes with their roadmap, and they let one out each month. And I love the way they're doing it. Thank you, Tom Jones. Gotta love that. No more Survivor. Okay, I am with you. This month's roadmap, whoop, I already scrolled down. Just, they're telling you what's going on with R-Factor 2. Performance updates. Content changes, including the Corvette. Look at that beautiful car. Look at the blue flame coming out of the exhaust. Got to love that. And beyond that, look at this. Laser scanned version of Sebring. So that's a beautiful, beautiful thing. I cannot wait to find out what's going on. HUD changes, UI changes. So they're showing some of the replay controls here. Competition, they talk about an update to that other Project Kart sim that's going on as well. So lots going on. Competizione. Competizione. Was that better? You like that? TT Isle of Man. I don't know. I cover this so often that I can never remember sometimes when I've covered it in the past. Is this a new trailer for TT Isle of Man, or is this the old one being regurgitated because we are getting closer and closer to the release date? I mean, here we are, the last day in February, March 6th is when this sucker comes out. And as of now, it looks and feels and sounds like it's one I'm going to have to buy. So I am really looking forward to this. If you pre-order it, you will get the Joey Dunlop tribute bike. So that's the advantage and part of that pre-order theme where you get content that others won't necessarily be able to get. New teas from Dakar. I'm going to keep doing these. I'm loving these photos. You could almost make a snap, what do you call it? A photo book of the photos they're releasing. But here is the photo. I'm assuming this is the loading screen for Arequipa to La Paz, Peru. So they are really showing us how much depth there is just in the Peru stage of the Dakar Rally game. Yeah, John Hill, iRacing should be sweating bullets. Everybody else has really stepped up their game. Mikael, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Competizione. I will get it right from now on. Oh, you guys are awesome. You guys are awesome. Next up, at Logitech, we've talked about their G Sport team. And here we have an image of some of their potential liveries. So when we see the Logitech out there doing the big competitions, this is what they're going to look like. In addition to that, we did talk about the members of the team yesterday. And I don't remember this name being on the team. Fernando Perpignan or Ochando. It looks like he is now also on the team. He won a challenge to also be part of the team. So he's not on that photo op here. I don't see him there. Nope, I didn't remember seeing that name. But this guy here, congratulations to him, Fernando. Look at that nice trophy. And look at that beautiful car in the background. I almost thought that was the McLaren World's Fastest Gamer car. That's what it looks like to me. Is that what it is? I think it would be. That would make sense. So anyway, that is building up as well. Now I'm going to blow through a few things real quick. How many of you guys remember Night Driver? I remember the title name. If I'm not mistaken, Night Driver was just dots that went like this on the screen, and you had a car that was fixed. It didn't move, and it just went, hey, Max, Sim Dog of the Year. Look at you. Thank you, Doug. Thank you, Doug. You guys are too awesome. But wasn't that Knight Rider, where you just navigated through the dots coming at you? Anyway, they are resurrecting the title, and it's been updated, so it's not quite the same game. But for you old-time gamers, you will all remember this title. And, yeah, look, this is a lot more gamey than in the past. So it's really using the old title, but I think that'll all, memories are good. Memories are a great thing to have. So when you look back on your childhood or, you know, younger years and remember things like this, it takes you back to the good old days. Yeah, it does look like the new McLaren livery, Dave. I completely agree. Am I right? Is Night Driver, wasn't that the one that was just dots and you just went, well, you didn't even do this because the car didn't move. I think you turned the wheel and it moved the dots or kept them in. Awesome, Todd. I promise you I will have at least one good drink while I'm away. GT Planet covering the new 1.13 update. So we talk about iRacing sweating bullets. Well, they're not just sweating bullets from the PC titles. Hey, buddy, I know, you're so excited. But they're also sweating bullets because, you know, let's face it, GT Sport, Forza, they're getting better. Assetto Corsa on the console version, they're all getting better. And it's just going to keep coming. And we are at the fastest, pun intended, we are at the fastest expansion or growth curve in sim racing that I've ever seen. I've been in sim racing, I've been in gaming all my life. I've been in sim racing specifically for 20 years, and I've never seen the rate of growth or the rate of expansion or the rate of technology getting better. Spy Hunter was one of my all-time favorite games. Oh, Spy Hunter, you had the rocket launches, the oil slicks, you had bad guys coming at you, you're navigating traffic, another classic top-down looking race game. One of the best of all times, I do remember. Anyway, Forza Motorsport, they have their new specialty dealer content, which is kind of cool. They rotate content, giving you a chance to drive certain cars for a period of time. And so now it's the M4, the Focus RS, and the Zonda Sync. Is it just Sync? I don't know how they say that one. Return. Forgive me, I'm just a dumb American. The Zonda Sync. Great picture of Long Beach right here. And this makes me think I'd like to do a head-to-head Forza versus Forza versus Project Cars versus, heck, let's throw as many as we can in. I want to do a Long Beach IndyCar shootout because of just how incredible the Long Beach IndyCar feeling is at Project Cars 2. In my opinion, they capture being there better than any other sim, but that's just going on the last time I tried it. I want to do a shootout and see what I really think between those. Next up at GT Planet. So we talked about a while ago, I let you guys know sync is silent. So it's sync, right, Randy? Just sync, not sync Q. It's sync. Or is the whole word silent? It's the Anyway, Andrew Waring won the first Canadian GT Sport Championship. So I told you guys about this competition going around in GT Sport, and there was going to be a lot of money. It was specific to Canada, and at the same time, sank, Jean Shale says. John, is that Shale? Did I say your name right? We're working on Sean's pronunciation today. But congratulations to him $8,000 in his pocket, you guys. I mean, I know guys who live off of some small money. $8,000 for one event. That's on your way to earning a living. Next up, we've talked about loot boxes. I'm not going to dwell on this, but the ESRB, the rating system for games, they are now coming up with a warning label. So instead of like, hey, you can't have them, just buyer beware. You're buying a game that has a lot of pay to play within, so to speak. Todd says that on software he agrees, but maybe declining on hardware. I think right now what we're seeing on the hardware side is we've reached a certain ceiling. And until something else is done on the software side, funny enough, to work with the wheels, I think we might just be to the point what we see is more refinements of the same. And I agree, we're not seeing anything revolutionary on the hardware side. But, well, you could also make the argument that the VR that's coming is definitely new on the hardware side as well. Kind of goes hand in hand, hardware, software. Next up, okay, GT Online adds the Pfister Comet SR. And so I look at this car, and this just totally reminds me of the days of Live for Speed. And I know GTA's always done this with cars, but they love to hybrid cars that you know. That, to me, is a Porsche 911 front end. End of story. Other than the headlights. You know, and that rear end is probably more distinguishable from a different angle as a other iconic car. You sandwich them together. Live for Speed used to do that back in the day as well. And I always thought this was a beautiful way of tapping into our brains, because I see a 911, I'm like, I like that car. When I'm playing Grand Theft Auto, I do identify certain cars and want to drive specific ones. So, yeah, Thrustmaster handbrake. But again, I don't know if that's revolutionary. Like, we are seeing changes on the software side. The games are getting better and better and better. A lot of it is just DLC, and I'd argue that is the same as a handbrake. So, anyway, but I think we're seeing a lot more on the software side. I think that's a somewhat fair statement. You could also make the argument for motion sims are becoming more affordable, quicker reaction, all that kind of stuff. I think we're seeing it on the hardware side too, now that I think about it. Well, good point. Next up, you can finally stream Xbox One's games on your Mac. You know, as much as I do all this, I don't stream games to my other PC. I stream things to you guys. So this is irrelevant for me, but I know in-house streaming has become very popular. You now are seeing the first cross-platform in that direction from Xbox to the Mac. So that is pretty cool. MR2? Where is it? The rear end. Yeah, you could cut this. Whoops, you could cut that back section off. That's very MR2 with that, like, engine cooling for the mid-engine. Oh, and that would be funny. The cooling, is that the biggest... Well, no, that's a rear-end engine car. What am I thinking? I'm sorry. Brain fart-o-rama right there. Tom, I don't see the desire, but it's relevant, I suppose. Mac is evil. No, Macs are not evil. They're just not ideal for what we do. All the craze this year was on that giant, I think it was a Samsung widescreen. It was basically a 2-for-1 widescreen, 47 inches, and it was about $1,000. It was actually $1,300. I think it already dropped to $1,000. Anyway, LG has an alternative, and this is normally a $700 monitor, and it is currently on sale for $600 at Amazon. So this is a 34-inch GSync monitor. I don't know. They're saying 5 millisecond, which is like, I believe that's yesterday's fast, because I think we see things a bit quicker than that now. 144 hertz refresh, but it's 2560 by 1080 resolution. So that's basically a 2-for-1 monitor. No bezel in the middle if you were just running 2. There's a side of me that thinks this might be the right way to go, and I'm going to be testing out this theory, but for a while now I've thought that I'm running 27-inch triples, and I think that in the grand scheme of things, it is so much wider than it is tall, and, like, unproportional. And I think that 2 with a little more height because of the scaling might be a better view for driving. We'll see. But it also means you're running one double-sized video card monitor instead of 3. Easier to mount, all sorts of things. Yeah, it's a 1 millisecond. So again, I remember 5 millisecond being very fast 10 years ago. Now I think that's just a gaming speed, but there are things that are faster. This is a great article. For a while, I thought that the consoles were going to overtake the PC market. And this is an article that's actually making the direct showdown between cheap PCs and an Xbox One or a PS4. And they do even go on to talk about how a PS4 versus a PS4 Pro or a Xbox versus Xbox One X. But right about $500, you're talking about like a RX 470 video card being equal to what a PlayStation Pro can do. So if you really want to know, I mean, for me, it's not a matter of a shootout, because for me, it's not a decision of one or the other. It's just great to see that the PCs are getting really affordable on the low end. We've talked about the video cards, and like the next gen video card, I heard the 2080 is going to be $1,400-$1,500. But I'm also seeing price drops on the low end. And if you're not a high-end gamer, the low-end video cards will play every game. They just might not do iRacing and triples at 300 frames per second. So next up, F1 is now looking at a new streaming service available internationally. And this is great for like me. One of the problems I have being a huge fan of Formula 1 is they bounce it around on my cable all over the place. It's really hard to stay on top of. Having a streaming service for something like this, something for me that's the international scene, is awesome. And it might add extended coverage, because if I do watch it on television here in America, I can guarantee you if I watch them cross the line, I will not see them get their trophy, or at least not every race. So, yeah, low-end PCs are getting beastly. The high-end ones are getting obscenely priced. I mean, scary expensive. I mean, you're to the point where you could easily spend $6,000 on a gaming computer if you were just all in. So, the low-end ones, I don't know if they make us all happy, but they're good starter computers. They're good for, you know, getting into gaming. They're good for coming away from the console and not to take anything away from console. We talked about hardware. My biggest reason for being a PC guy is the hardware side. You can get a great gaming experience on an Xbox One or on a PS4, but the hardware, it's just you're restricted so much on the hardware side. So that does take us to the end of the news. I have one more story, and this is really, we talked about it yesterday. I just wasn't able to pull it up fast enough, and that was the big bomb out of iRacing. And I can use bomb in two ways. I think for people who love iRacing will see it like news bomb, woo! And I think people who don't like iRacing will see it as a big bomb or a whatever. And that's just me being fair. But they do have two new LMP1 cars, the Porsche 919 Hybrid, the Audi R18 e-tron Quattro. Both of those are coming out in the next build, so we're just about there. So these are coming out immediately. They are also releasing a new Indy car, the IR18. Anybody who bought the DW12 in the last 6 months, you're going to get a full credit back. Everybody who already owned it, well, that's iRacing. And if you own the truck, you know what I'm talking about. There have been cars that you've owned that became older, and so now they're gonna have that case for the Indy car. It also means the old DW12 now become free content, so anybody getting into iRacing will be able to run that car. You just might not have anyone to run it against. Also, new Limaland Motorsports Park, so this is another dirt track, including a night variation of the track. I build my own PCs, yes, for the most part. That one here is from Viper Computer, who built me that one. There's a new dirt track at Charlotte, and a new GRC circuit at Sonoma. A rescan version of Pocono that's coming, but I believe if you, just like anything else, if you own the existing Pocono, you get the revised version for free. The old one will be granted to everybody for free. And they do mention that they do have a new road course in the works. So for those, that was something I was complaining about recently, but they do have it in the works. So, a lot going on at iRacing, and it will be a pretty substantial build, and you're going to have a whole new series with the Porsches are going to be part of the iRacing Le Mans Endurance Series. So, lots of new stuff coming from them as well. And that does take me to the end of the traditional sim racing news. I do have some Simpit news to talk about. Number one, I only have one more stream before I'm on vacation. I'm going to be getting together with Mitchie at 11 a.m. to do an engineer and drive, where, once again, Mitchie is going to be my engineer, and I am going to do the driving. We are going to be getting me up to speed for the 12 hours of Sebring, which is going on next weekend. Not this weekend, but next weekend. Well, I'm going to be out of town for a week, so I got to get my preparation in now, and then I got to come hauling ass home to get further prepared. I might even have to do some driving on the road if that's at all possible. But tonight, not tonight, in an hour and a half, I'll be on the air with Mitchie. We will be doing that and just trying to get me up to speed before I leave. Beyond that, because I'm missing this week's race, I'm not going to do an Attack the Track this evening. But I do want to give the guys credit. So, number one, they're running on SimRacing Systems Thursday and Friday night. This week, we were at Red Bull Ring. This is in the 90s DTM series. And I want to thank Dennis, the big one. If you go to the Simpit website, here's the link for today's show if you want to follow any of the stories. Right here, you see the leaderboard link. You click on that, and it takes you to Dennis's page. Not only does he have a 24/7 server running for everybody to practice for the series, but he also has a leaderboard, and we can see some of the times. Suelo Brendo leading the way in an Alpha with a 138.273 at Red Bull Ring. Ricardo Mascarenas with a 138.795, also in an Alpha. Sven Brainissen in a BMW M30 running a 138.932. So thank you, Dennis, for having this for us. Please join them. Get out there at SimRacing Systems. Thursday, Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can run in the 90s DTM Revival Series with the guys. And it is always great fun. And you can go practice and do all of that. Beyond that, what else do we have? I am leaving, as I mentioned, today. I'm leaving tomorrow morning. I'll be out of town for a little over a week. I will be back next weekend to stream that race from Sebring. And in my absence, Mitchie will be doing some driving streams. John Hill in the chat here has stepped up and will be doing a handful of pit stops in my absence as well. So we will continue on while I'm gone. I can't get away and not communicate. I have already installed Discord onto my phone. I'll try to chime in with the guys and say hello, and I will definitely be staying on top of what's going on with everything, but mostly having a much-needed vacation. See if I can grow in this beard. Maybe when I return all the beard, maybe when I come back, I'll look like same old Sean because I couldn't take it. Beyond that, I do have the Samsung Odyssey VR, mixed VR headset review. It is in the final stages, and it's something that I'm trying to get done before I leave town. If not, I'm going to have to finish the edit on my laptop on the road, but you will see that in my absence or before I leave for sure. I think that covers everything. I want to thank you guys for everything. I want to thank you for being part of the pit crew. I want to thank John Hill. I want to thank Mitchie. I can't even do the whole list because there are too many names I would leave out. There are so many guys who help me out behind the scenes with the Simpit, and as much as it is just me doing the show, the amount of support and just the amount of effort that everybody does to be here chatting about the topics, to be in Patreon, giving us ideas, and just having great conversation. I want to thank you all. So before I leave, I just want to leave you with that. Thank you so much for being part of the pit crew, and it means a lot to me. The new show is something near and dear to my heart, just being able to talk sim racing with my friends, and you guys have no idea the opportunity you give me by being here, allowing me to do this particular show in addition to all the other content we do at the Simpit. So thank you, and know that I'm going to miss you very much while I'm away, but I will be back one more time in an hour and a half with that drive at Sebring with Mitchie Hoyer as my crew chief. That's going to do it. I hope you guys have a great week. Have a great time. Get out there and do some racing while I'm away. Let me know how it went. This is the Simpit. I'm Sean Cole, and I'll see you on the track.